Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Kevin Dolan, author-writer of my memoir, Little Fag, A Journey of Self-Acceptance and Healing. And today I'm going to close this reading by reading gratitude for this book, or acknowledgements, from page 341. I clung to the notion for the longest time that my family somehow gave me all my problems. Today, as I hold them as teachers in my life, from whom it was my job to extract the lessons, I'm free to embrace that all my problems are my own. I am responsible for me. All the holes I dug in my life were dug by me. My coming out of them is the essence of this book. It isn't lost on me that perhaps all the members of my family at one point in their lives also attempted to climb out of holes they dug themselves. I've learned that it's not about fault, not at this point in my life. It's about the degree to which I choose or am actively choosing to be 100% responsible for my life. I feel blessed to have figured out that climbing out of these holes was monumental work on my part. I am forever grateful to my mom, Dorothy Mae Dolan, to my dad, James Joseph Dolan, and my siblings, Maureen Stewart, Rick Dolan, John Dolan, Jim Dolan, Timothy Pat Dolan, Anne Ramaconi, Francis Anderson Dolan, and Joseph Dolan. I am, in so many ways, a reflection of these souls. Also, I am, in many ways, a very different reflection of these souls. There isn't a day that goes by that one or more of them receive a special blessing from me. My life overflows with love. Much of it comes from who I refer to as the new generation of Dolans. These are the children of my siblings. I'm blessed to be involved in their lives. All of them are the benefactors of what I braved and what I learned and unlearned on my path to healing as outlined within the chapters of this book. A niece shared over a family dinner some years ago that she believed the work I've chosen to do has evoked an evolution of generational healing for the Dolans. It is a way that families can shift from trauma to healing. It is my work with this new generation to bring this gift of healing. It's amazing that none of the new generation have addiction issues. None have alcohol challenges. None are violent to their partners. Their children are fully functioning. All of them are amazing human beings. So much gratitude to this new generation of Dolans, my nieces and nephews and their children, who are my grandnieces and nephews. They include Michael and Jessica Ramaconi. Gabriel and Sienna are their children. Brady and Shannon Dolan. Taylor and Kendall are their children. Justin and Tanya Haberlack Dolan. Connor, Aiden, and Cole are their children. Michael and Carly Dolan. Lachlan, Keaton, and Kaylin are their kids. Tanis and Wendell Berg. Jaron and Claire are their kids. Nancy Anderson Dolan. Jared Anderson Dolan. Dorian Anderson Dolan. Cody and Kaylee Dolan. Everett and Vivian are their kids. Brendan Dolan. Jay Marasco, Samantha is his daughter, and Shirley Dolan, Kelly, is her daughter, for bringing a new energy, which is acceptance, forgiveness, love, and understanding, to my life. To my husband, Adam Ma, thank you for being my family. Thank you for being my love. In so many moments of writing this book, it was our celebrated love that nudged me forward. Your companionship, for the many moments I felt alone while writing this book, served as a guiding light in helping me remember the power of healing that took place every time a word spilled onto a page. You've inspired me to do my work. I've supported you in doing yours. I love how you've brought our individual discoveries to each other with reverence, understanding, and the desire to share. It feels like this book was girded by that energy. We've consciously and implicitly trusted ourselves and each other to grow in ways that will inspire the evolution of greater love. We're committed to the energy of sharing and use clarity to understand what each other's individual needs are and how to ask the other for what we need. I am grateful for you, for allowing ease, effortlessness, grace, devotion, and commitment as a way for us to be united as each word appeared on every page. Thank you for having my back and fully supporting this memoir. Thank you to Rhonda Nowak for editing this book and finding the title buried in the text in my writing. Your first mention of the title took my breath away and inspired tears. Beyond checking for grammatical mistakes, you supported the honing and shaping of my words for emotional impact. You inspired my writing as holistic, and that helped strengthen and enhance this book. You never attempted to fix it. I am deeply grateful. I am thankful to Alexander Poprosky, Tracy Wimperly, Shep D.S. Shepard, Christian Bauer, Horacio Rodas, and Dr. Tanya Renner for being my beta readers. These folks as beta readers tested my unreleased work, similar to beta testing in software. They gave me feedback from the point of view of an average reader, yet they are anything but average. Their advice and comments form the flow and evolution of this book. I'm grateful to have been supported in the design of the cover of this book by Chantel Pentland and Jeff Stock, two dear friends. The image is such a great tease and yet spoils nothing related to the book. The thoughtfulness of the design tells a lot to a person about the book without revealing every detail. I love how I feel the design draws a reader's attention by telling the story of the book without them even needing to turn to the first page. I wanted the cover to entice the reader and be the beginning point to my memoir. I love the notion my image evokes, allowing the reader to connect with the book on an emotional level. The cover photograph was taken by a professional photographer named Ian at a video shoot in Calgary in 1994. Ian gifted me with a framed version of the shot, titling it Miracle Maker. He signed the bottom of the matting. I cannot make out his last name. It saddens me that I'm not able to fully attribute the photograph for the book cover. Thank you, Ian, for catching my essence. I wouldn't be here without the teachers that I was blessed to have throughout my life. Their impact changed me for the better. I was powerfully intuitive as a student, and every teacher I had reinforced my truth. They taught me there was but one person I couldn't fool, and that was myself. I'm eternally grateful for their influence in my life. Every page you've read was inspired by a teacher. Two powerful influencers for this book have been former partners of mine who I've chosen not to have fade into the background of my life. I've transformed them into dear friends. They are members of my family of choice. Both Tai Lam and Jeffrey DeYoung at different times knew my virtues and faults better than anyone. I'm proud to have chosen to view my relationship with each as a means for growth. For all the ways I show up in my marriage with my husband, I credit both of these men for being my teachers. Both have been a witness to my growth, inspiring me to be a better version of myself. I'm grateful for how they've inspired me to know what I am capable of. I honor those that came before me, my ancestors, and I seek their wisdom every day. They too have had a huge energetic influence on this book, and I'm eternally grateful for their guidance. My ancestors represent another wellspring from which I draw wisdom in times of need, for they too act as my spirit guides. Each forebear spent at least one lifetime experiencing the tribulations that were a part of their human existence. The perspective they have offered me is a uniquely grounded one. I'm grateful they heard my requests for their guidance. They helped me emerge unscathed on the far side of conflicts and helped me fulfill my potential. I thank them for being a part of my web of intent that gave me life. As this book came through me, they did their best to answer my questions and provide me with all the love, aid, and guidance I asked for in order to help me evolve as a writer and author. I'm proud to have turned to my ancestors for guidance. As much as I wanted to toss God out of my life, especially when the Catholic Church turns its back on me when I came out, I didn't. I'm so grateful that God had my back. 25 years ago, I sat across from somebody who said, "You have a book in you, and don't die without writing it." We were at a restaurant in Calgary, and I said to him, "How do I start?" Start by simply saying, "I'm with my friend John. John suggests I write a book." That's the beginning of your book. So having completed this book and these chapters, I am profoundly grateful for the courage that I found and the courage I continue to have to allow this to be front and center. I'm especially grateful to Rhonda, my editor, who called me one day to say, Thomas, I think I've got the title to the book. And just to share, I told them a little bit about it, but ultimately just to breathe a little bit more energy into the title. I had no idea, for years I had no idea what the title of the book would be. And when I finally leaned on Rhonda as she took up the mantle of editor, she's a professional writer, she's really brilliant. And she texted one day to say, I think I've got it, but I need to see you. I had a FaceTime call. And when I saw her, she said, Thomas, I want you to take a breath and let me share with you what the title is. So I took a breath and she said, Little Fag, a journey of self-acceptance and healing. I started to cry. She started to cry. And she said, isn't it amazing that that title has been in the book all along and it's just taken some time to tease it out? And of course, the genesis of the title is me coming to my mom in 1988, spending a year or so diving into how it is that I could take the sting out of the word fag when people tossed it at me. What if I didn't resist that word? What if I just accepted the fact that I am a fag? And then very proudly going to my mom, and probably on some level wanting permission for it to be okay, and saying to her, Mom, I'm so excited, but before I tell you what I'm working on, I just want you to know I'm so blessed that I'm your little fag. And she just went ballistic. Don't ever use that word. I hate it. I quickly ushered myself out of her home at the time. Came back a couple weeks later and she said, Dear, I'm so sorry. I owe you an apology. And I didn't quite remember what for. And she said, sit down. I'd like to talk to you. She said, I'm so sorry that I was so snarky about you using that word. She couldn't even quite say it yet, that word for your book. And she said, the reason I got so upset about it is because I used that word against gay men when I was growing up. So healing for my mom, a title for my book, and ultimately I knew it might be a little bit edgy, right? I've had some feedback. There's a few gay men that don't like that word, maybe haven't done the work, and that's completely okay. But I'll tell you, it's opened more doors for me because it is my truth, right? I am a little fag. And I finally found the place to be able to say that to you, and I can say it with love.